Today's topic is XML. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. As the name suggests, it is a markup language and is extensible. A markup language is a language that uses tags to define elements within a document. Some examples of markup languages include HTML, SGML, etc. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and SGML stands for Standard Generalized Markup Language. Actually, XML was developed as a subset of SGML. Now, XML has no predefined tags. XML is called extensible since the language can be extended by anyone, or we can define our own tags. Now let us see an example. Here we have an XML document for storing employee details. Now when we think of an employee, we have his name, his contact details, etc. So I have created several user-defined tags such as first name, last name, contact number, email, etc. So an XML document begins with $XML version equal to version number. Now here the root element is company. Then we have employee, which is a parent node of the first element. And first name is a child of employee. First name, last name are siblings, just like city, zip, etc. Towards the right, we have the XML tree-like structure for the employee document. Now here is another example of an XML document that stores student details such as his roll number, name, class, the marks he has scored, etc. DTD. DTD stands for Document Type Definition. And DTDs describe the XML document structure, or they describe the elements in a document and their relationship to each other. There are two ways in which we can define DTD. That is, we can have internal DTD or external DTD. For an internal DTD, DTD is declared inside the XML file, whereas for an external DTD, it is stored externally. Here is a syntax of an internal DTD. Here we begin with the DTD identifier or the doc type delimiter, followed by a square bracket and then the declarations. And for an external DTD, we specify the external DTD file. All DTD files have the extension .ttd and XML files have the extension .xml. Here is an example of an XML document that uses internal DTD. I have taken the previous example of an employee and created several user-defined tags such as employee number, name, department, institution, salary. Now towards the top we have the internal DTD. So first is the identifier followed by the declarations. So consider the element declaration for name. It has been declared of type #PC data. This indicates that the element name can contain text only information. For example, here we have the tag or the element name, and it should contain only text data. Here is an example of XML document that uses external DTD, and it is specified here. The name of the external DTD file is specified here, emp.dtd. So for DTD, we specify the type, and within the XML, we should ensure that only that type of values are given. Next is the concept of namespaces. When we create our own tags, there may be a lot of ambiguity. For example, assume two institutions use the same department tag. Now, when combining these XML documents, which one should the XML compiler process? To overcome such problems or to avoid such naming conflicts, we can declare namespaces in an element, and all elements under that will inherit this namespace. So here is the syntax of a namespace: element XML NS, which means XML namespace colon name equal to URL. So in this example, we store the details of books. There are two namespaces, B1 and B2. Corresponding to B1, we have two elements, title, author, and corresponding to B2, we have two elements, name and publisher. Next topic is XML schema. XML schema is very much similar to an XML DTD. XML schemas describe and validate the structure of an XML document. The XML schema language is also known as XML schema definition or XSD. Here is a syntax of an XML schema. So we begin with XML schema or XS and XML-NS, XML namespace for the document. Okay. Below is an example of XML schema. That is, we begin with XML schema, give the namespace. Here it is schema 1. Then we give the name of the element, that is score. And so here towards the right we have the XML document element score. Then XS colon complex type is a container for other element definitions. So here we mention the other elements as a sequence. So here we have two elements. This XML is used to store the details of marks for a particular subject. So the first element is subject and the second element is marks, and its type is string for subject and integer for marks. So over here we have score, that is the name of the element, XSI colon schema location indicates that XSI stands for XML schema instance. Now XML schema instances allows an XML instance to associate element type information directly without using XSD. Then we specify the schema location as the external file score1.xsd, and we have the subject tag as well as a marks tag. Thank you.